Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and... The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the
Nggak ada
ashes.
subtitle-nya. Aduh, udah begini aja lah. Emang nggak ada itunya ya, caption.
See you get on. This is my third transfer this year. Well, end of the line.
Welcome to City 17. You have chosen or been chosen to relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers. I thought so much of City 17 that I elected to establish my administration here
It's all I have left.
in the citadel so thoughtfully provided by our benefactors. I've been proud to call City 17 my home.
Ini ngomong siapa sih, Cok?
Whether you are here to stay or passing through on your way to
Ini kita ngikutin aja kan.
welcome to City 17. It's safe.
Dr. Breen again? I was hoping I'd seen the last of him in City 14. I wouldn't say that too loud. This is his base of operations.
Bentar ya. Nge-lag kah? Iya nge-lag, Cok. Coba turunin bitrate ya. 4000 deh.
Welcome to City 17. You have chosen or been chosen to relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers.
Jadi kita jadi pekerja.
I thought so much of City 17.
Aduh. Rp5.000 deh bitrate.
So, whether you are here to stay or passing through on your way to parts unknown, welcome to City 17. It's safer here.
Terus kemana lagi? Oh, ke sini. Oh, ngantri gitu. Pak. Oh. Diapain kita, Cok? Weh.
to City 17.
Sini.
You have
Hah?
chosen or been
Bingung banget gue
chosen to
anjing.
relocate to
Siapain kita, Cok?
finest remaining urban center. I thought so much of City 17 that I elected to establish my
Halo semua yang baru datang ya.
in the
Baru join.
symbol so thoughtfully
Udah lama
provided.
gue nggak live. Nggak bikin video malah.
Just like everybody else.
Diapain gitu, Cok?
I'm gonna need me some privacy for this.
About that beer I owed you. It's me, Gordon, Barney from Black Mesa.
Oh, teman kita gitu.
Sorry for the scare. I had to put on a show for the cameras. I've been working undercover with civil protection. I can't take too long or they'll get suspicious. I'm way behind on my beating quota.
Yes, Barney, what is it? I'm in the middle of a critical test.
Sorry, Doc, but look who's here.
Great Scott! Gordon Freeman! I expected more warning.
Nama
Yeah, you and me both, Doc.
Carter
He was
kita
about to
Gordon
board the
Freeman.
express to Nova Prospect.
Well, Barney, what do you intend?
I'm thinking.
Alex is around here somewhere. She would have a better idea how to get him here.
Oh, as long as he stays away from checkpoints, we should be okay. Listen, I gotta go, Doc. We're taking enough chances as it is.
Very well. And, Gordon, good to see you.
Okay, Gordon. You're gonna have to make your own way to Dr. Kleiner's lab.
Gua Kleiner siapa, Cok?
Oh, man, that's what I was afraid of. Get in here, Gordon, before you blow my cover.
Oh, dia hampir ketahuan, Cok.
Pile up some stuff to get through that window and keep going till you're in the plaza.
Ah,
I'll meet up with you later.
oke. Ini ambil. Terus ke atas gitu.
Blocking Tutorials 3. The second failure in this tutorial space is a case of misteaching, where we accidentally teach the player something we didn't intend. This can be hard to avoid without extensive playtesting, since the game is always teaching, even when it's not by design. We cover a more extreme example of this later in Train Station. Some cases of misteaching are critical to fix, like if the player learns the wrong way to use a weapon or interact with a common element of the game. Blocking
Inilah baik bacot. That I don't get
Blocking tutorials.
how we gotta
At
progress
times,
from
we
here.
need to be certain the player has learned something, and the standard method, at least in game development, not in life, is to trap them behind a gate of some kind, where the player must demonstrate their knowledge to be able to continue. We try to disguise these gates as something natural, so it doesn't feel like the game has come to a halt. Of course, time, resources, or the environmental context itself can make that tricky. In this case, we needed to teach the players how to move objects, so a simple stacking puzzle seemed like the best solution. We tested more complex designs, but they ended up being less effective at teaching the actual thing we needed the player to learn.
Blocking tutorials 2. There are two failures of note in this tutorial. First, players can break it by tossing all the boxes out the window, which is
Bisa
obviously not
keluar
great.
anjir
This
gue
leaves some
apa.
stuff
Fall damage. Teaching players how to do
Oh, ini
things is
tutor,
an
masih
essential
tutor
thing for the
anjing.
game to do. But for them to
Okay.
make confident decisions, they also need to understand
Oke. What the heck? Nge-save kah? Nge-save.
fall damage.
Yang
Teaching
nge-save
players how
itu.
to do things is an essential thing for the game to do. But for them to make confident decisions, they also need to
Dia
understand the
ngajarin
more
kita
subtle
farming ya. I
rules.
know.
This small moment covers two of those.
Yeah, don't
First,
worry.
it shows how far the player can fall without taking damage. Second, it introduces a bit of the game's vocabulary,
Pick up
how
that
the game
can.
will communicate with them.
Contextualizing tutorials,
Players often worry about
creating
taking
a
fall
story
damage,
scenario
but
in
they
which
also
they
worry
happen.
about taking a step
Lets us do
that they
more
can't
than just
take
stop
back.
the game to
So
teach
here,
players
a
something.
welcoming
We
crate
get
to
to add
land on
narrative value
signals
to the
that
moment.
jumping
Anjir,
down
Bang.
is safe.
Tak
And
siapa-siapa yang
Teaching
ngomong
the player
anjing.
how to throw
And when the
objects
crate
is combined
breaks,
with a
it
narrative
reinforces
setting
Baik banget
the
ya.
physics
simulation
Ngomong,
simulation.
how
Cok.
to respond.
And it's likely the first time
After
players will
watching the
see
Metro
that larger
cops
objects
casually
can be
abuse
broken apart.
citizens, it felt
Halo,
right to
halo
put the
semua yang
player
baru
in a
datang.
similar position next.
Yang baru datang di stream
If
ini.
they had opinions on how the citizen should have reacted, now they get to express them. Playtesting showed most players either complied or refused the request to pick up the can, but some tried to avoid the confrontation entirely. Others would comply initially, then retaliate after feeling humiliated. By keeping the moment relatively constrained in both terms of player actions and the space
The
itself,
fuck?
we could generally react appropriately to whatever choice they made. Pick up that can. Contextualizing tutorials, creating a story scenario in which they happen, lets us do more than just stop the game to teach players something. We get to add narrative value to the moment. Here, teaching the player how to throw objects is combined.
Playtesting. Playtesting is a core part of how we make games. We can never fully predict how players will respond or what they'll take away from what we've built. So we test to learn and hopefully improve. During a playtest, we don't guide or talk to the player, even if they're stuck, as it's extremely unlikely that we'll be sitting there next to the player once the game ships. Our goal is for testers to forget that they're playtesting altogether and play as if they're at home.
Di dalam sebuah game
Any interruptions risk skewing
kita
the
di
data,
playtest.
so we only step in if there's a bug that's blocking progress, or more rarely, if their behavior is so confusing that we need to
gue
understand
bingung
what
buat nih gamenya gimana sih. Soalnya ya gue tahu nih game lama kan, tapi ya baru main juga so gak boleh lewat sini. Oke.
Early in a Half-Life game, one of our goals is to make promises to the player, giving them a sense of what to expect later on. From movies to TV shows and books, all great entertainment does this in some way, and video games are no different. The promises in a Half-Life game can take different forms. Some are simple, like offering just a glimpse of something intriguing. Others are more
tell me where
layered,
to go, man.
like the interactions with Metro Cops. By
Kesini
putting
lah.
the player in a powerless position against them, we set the stage for that future moment when they can finally get to retaliate.
The urge to reproduce.
Memang harus.
We can't be seen talking.
Ropes. One of the things we noticed in all of the reference images that we gathered for City 17 was that there were cables and wires everywhere, and that they were large.
Exploration. After being herded through the train station by Metro Cops, we wanted to give the player a chance to explore. This plaza offered several ways to interact with citizens, Metro Cops, scanners, and the city infrastructure. We aimed for these interactions to continue building the world without needing
Playtesting Anecdote 1. One memorable playtest reminded us that we can never be certain what players are thinking or what lessons they've taken from their experience. This tester, after playing from the start and stuck trying to open a door, spent several minutes going back and forth between the game and the keyboard settings. When we asked what they were looking for, they said they were searching for the inventory controls, thinking they could use an item they'd picked up earlier to unlock the door. While we'd seen them collect and drop several physics objects, they'd misunderstood what was happening. The tester believed that pressing the use key while holding an object moved it into an inventory because the item dropped straight down. We knew it was just gravity, but their assumption wasn't crazy. Some adventure games of that era did slide items into an invisible inventory that way. We explained there was no inventory, and the playtest continued. Later, we considered whether we needed to address this, but since no other playtesters had the same confusion, and all of our potential solutions were more heavy-handed than necessary.
Strider. This simple mode.
Early game exploration. Up until this plaza, the player likely hasn't had to think much about their path, as it's been clear and straightforward. But here, we wanted to encourage exploration, which meant making the way forward less obvious, which can produce a feeling of being lost or, worse, confused, as you might expect. These kinds of shifts can be tough, especially early in the game, when the player is still learning the game's guide.
Sabar. Ada urusan.